Hello and welcome to A View from the Car. An article came up in my newsfeed. That's how I seem to start a lot of these vlogs. Trended on Twitter, or an article came up in my newsfeed. So anyway, an article really did come up in my newsfeed, and it was having a go at Kent County Council. No, you're welcome, mate. It's all right. It was having a go at Kent County Council because of their provision for children with special needs getting to and from school. They, from what I can gather from the article, because I'm driving, I'm not going to be able to read the article. I'm just going on my middle-aged memory, which isn't the best as it is. And it was saying that basically KCC decided they wanted to have a shake-up because, you know, as anybody knows, anybody that's dealt with children with special needs, that's what they need from time to time. They need a bit of a shake-up. That's what S.E.N. children need. They need a shake-up. They need livening up every so often, as everybody knows. You know, it's ridiculous that the people in charge of arranging transport for people with very specific needs have no idea about the needs of those people. I used to, in the good old days, I used to be one of those minibus drivers with a chaperone, you know, that used to drive around picking up the special needs children. I'm not, or the S.E.N. children, whatever you want to call them, but the children that had to go to school in private transport, right? So, and you know, and I'm not trying to sound all cheesy and everything, but it was honestly one of the most enjoyable jobs I think I've ever had, ever. The children I used to pick up, they was all, you know, able-bodied. There was no, in the last part of the bit I did, there was no wheelchair users, and because the first school I went to, the children were severely disabled, you know, non-verbal, wheelchair users. Well, look at that, he's going for it anyway. I didn't need to move out at all. You know, they're very, very severely disabled at that end of the thing there. But then the second part, they was all able-bodied and they was autistic and stuff, and you know, but honestly, it was a joy. It really was a genuine delight to transport these children. They used to make me laugh every single day. You know, they would the things they would come out with, because I like children when they get to a certain age. You know, my own grandchildren, they're very young. My oldest grandson is 4, you know, and my youngest granddaughter should be 2 this year. But they're not, you know, when children get to a certain age and they start to say interesting things. For instance, when I was driving this minibus, there was one lad on the bus in particular, a very cheeky chappy, do you know what I mean? He was really funny. He was about 12. He used to crack me up. And we had a replacement chaperone for a few days, and this chaperone was the most miserable old cow I've ever met anywhere in my life, ever. So anyway, so we put up with her for a few days, and then our regular chaperone came back, and all was well. So my regular chaperone, she said, "How did you get on? Who did you have?" So I said, "Oh, we had this woman." I said, "You can't have any more time off, love." I said, because this woman was just diabolical. I even told the office, don't put her on my bus again, because I don't want her. She didn't talk to the children, she didn't interact with the children, only so much to say, "Put your seatbelt on," and that was it. That was the extent of her interaction. "Put your seatbelt on." So anyway, so I said, "You can't have any more time off." I said, because, you know, I don't know who I'm going to end up with. I could end up with an old trout like her. And she said, "Why? What happened?" I said, "She was just useless." I said, "She was absolutely useless." I said, "I'd have been better off with a sack of potatoes seat belted in that seat there. And the boy, and I'm not kidding, as quick as a flash, he said, well, at least you could draw a smiley face on it, eh? Do you know what I mean? And it just, honestly, it killed me. It really did. It just, I just went to pieces. You know, yeah, I'd be better off with a sack of potatoes, but at least you could draw a smiley face on it. And honestly, these children were an absolute delight. They truly were. It was a genuine pleasure. But what they needed and what they relied upon was consistency. They relied upon having the same driver, the same chaperone, the same vehicle, even if I had, you know, the same vehicle, you know, the same type of, I used to have a Transit, 16-seater Transit. Even if I had a different 16-seater Transit that was laid out exactly the same, the children would know, they'd notice, they'd pick up on it. They wouldn't grieve out, they wouldn't, you know, but they'd know it was different. But these children, they need that consistency. They need that, you know, just the same people day in, day out. Although the route we used to take used to change because depending on traffic, you know, we said to them, look, we'll try and do the same route as much as we can. But then you get things like absence, after school clubs, you know, so the route is going to change. You're not going to go round to little Johnny's house in the afternoon if little Johnny's doing an after school club. So you say to them, look, we'll try and do the same route every day. There's going to be days when it's either not possible or not practical. And the kids, you know, they sort of got on board with that and they accepted it and they said, well, that's fine. I mean, obviously they wasn't as severely disabled as some of the children out there, but they relied on consistency. The same bus, the same time, the same driver, the same chaperone, the same everything to, you know what I mean, to keep their weeks as balanced as we could. And we used to, you know, our only rule was, if you want to sit on the bus and you want to just plug your earphones in and you want to just chill out with your iPod or whatever, that's fine. But when we, you know, you get on the bus, we say good morning, you say hello back. That's all we want. You know, and a lot of them were older lads, so they'd plug in and then they'd nod off a bit. You know, like teenage boys do. I'm going to have to change lanes again in a minute. You know, but that was all we required. If we say hello back. We just want the basics, do you know what I mean? But it's consistency. We was consistent with that. The chaperone was consistent with her management of the passengers, because that's what she was doing. I was the steering wheel monkey, and she was in charge of the passengers. And she although she ruled with an iron fist, you know, she really was probably the best chaperone I've ever worked with. And it helps, because then it keeps things on an even keel. It keeps things steady. And that's what S.E.N. children need. They need consistency, they need balance, they need not, oh, let's liven them up a bit, let's just change all the arrangements across the county for no real, well, the real reason is penny pinching. That's the real reason, is penny pinching. Let's try and save 5 pence and we'll mess up all these kids' weeks, and the parents then have got to you know, let their children loose with people they've not been introduced to. I mean, my sitter and I, my old chaperone, we go before the start of each new term, new school year, and we'd run over, we'd be given a list of children. These are the people you've got to pick up, these are the addresses, work out a route, run round it, go meet them. You know, if you haven't met them already, go and say hello. You know, and that's what we would do. We'd go round, you know, ahead of time and say, you know, this is who we are, this is the vehicle we're going to have. You know, we'll do our best to keep it, you know, forever. And there will be times when sometimes due to, you know, defects or breakdowns, it will have to change. But we will strive to keep the same vehicle day in and day out and the same crew. But these people at KCC just trying to save 5 pence here and there, and it's not on. You can't just go. Why do they think? They see there's an attitude in this country. Oh, well, he wants to be disabled so that he can park closer to the supermarket. Yeah, disabled people, they don't want to be able to walk across the supermarket car park. They just want to be disabled so they can, you know, not be independent, not do their own thing, but be reliant on other people. Yeah, that's what they want. That's totally what they want, isn't it? And yeah, don't worry about the little Joey kids. They don't matter. They'll be all right. They're only going to school. It's not. It's just wrong. It's so wrong. The attitude towards disabled people in the UK is absolutely dire. It's dreadful. It really is. The attitude to disabled children and adults. You get these adults with these mental health problems, you know, and they're oftentimes they're just put in a police station. They get arrested. They spend a couple of days in the cells because there's no provision for them. You know, there's no provision. We're so busy focusing on the wrong things in this country. Disabled people don't want to be disabled. Oh yeah, well no, I can park closer to the shop, you see, so it's all right. I don't mind. I mean, I used to take this girl to school and she was in a wheelchair. Well, she was a wheelchair user. She could stand. She wasn't confined to the wheelchair. She could sort of walk around and stand. But for school, it was safer for her to just use the wheelchair. And we'd go round in the morning. This was with a different set. The first part of my thing there. And the carer one morning was telling us how the girl, because she was coming up to 18, had been messaged by the chat, the DSS. Oh, she's got to go down the chat. That's what we call it in Medway. It's called the chat, the DSS. She's got to go down the job centre. And we looked and we said, why? Oh, to prove that she's disabled enough because she's going to be 18. Now, this girl had been, you know, going to a special school with private transport from about the age of 4 or 5. So she's gone all this time with, you know, private transport, special school provision, and now they're questioning whether she's disabled enough. What have you been doing for the last, how many years is that, sort of 13, 14 years, whatever it was? Of course she's disabled enough. What are you going to take off this girl next? Do you know what I mean? It's just, the attitude to disabled people, honestly, is so frustrating. Disabled people, the children, don't want to be livened up by some skinflint Scrooge from the county council that doesn't know anything about them, doesn't know anything about the job. My own nephew, he's autistic, but he's not wheelchair user or anything, but he's in the same position. His chaperone and drivers have changed numerous times. Very often a taxi driver now will knock on the door and just say to my sister, well, is he ready? And she said, well, who are you? Oh, I'm your new taxi driver. And she said, well, no one told me. Yeah, well, that's the way it is from today. Or my sister has phoned up the sitter and said, look, you know, what's going on with next term, next week? Are you back to school Monday or Tuesday or what? Oh yeah, it's back to school this day. Or what she's had a lot of the time is, no, well, we're not doing it. I was going to phone you today. It's not us. It's not us doing it. It's not us doing it from now on. It's been taken away. We've been put somewhere else. How wrong is that on a scale of 1 to absolutely horrifically wrong is that? You know, you think you're going to have your sitter and your driver and everything's going to be, and then, you know, the kids go into super anxiety mode because some skinflint Scrooge from the county council has decided, well, we could save tuppence halfpenny there, couldn't we? We'll do that. And it's just wrong. It's just so wrong. You know, it's just it really angers me. It really does. Treating disabled people like 3rd or 4th class citizens. You know, it's just, it doesn't happen to the politicians in charge. They never get messed around, do they? it's only the disabled kids because, oh well, screw them, don't worry about it, who cares, they're only little Joey kids anyway, they won't mind. Well, they do mind as it goes. They do mind. They mind an awful lot. And the parents, you just, oh yeah mate, go over there, pick that kid up, don't worry about introducing yourself a few days beforehand or anything, just, you know, this is the way it is now, you know. And it's so wrong. It really, really, really angers me, you know, and frustrates me, because they're just treated so poorly. They're treated poorly by the people that should be looking out for them. And if you don't know anything about S.E.N. children, maybe these people that work at KCC should actually do a job being a chaperone on an S.E.N. bus for a few weeks, so they get to know what it's like. They get to know that some of these kids are just so funny, you know, that you almost, there was a few times honestly that I almost had to stop, because these kids would just make me laugh that much. I would have tears running down my cheeks, because they would say the funniest things. It's such a rewarding job, you know, and I was genuinely gutted when that job was taken away from me. You know, but maybe these people should get a job being a chaperone for a few weeks. You know, maybe that might do them some good, because it's easy to sit here and say, well, you know, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're talking about, but then, you know, maybe they should go and get experience. It's good that they've not experienced disabilities, because that means everyone they've interacted with has been healthy and able-bodied and fit and well. But don't just, oh, I don't know, it just annoys me, it angers me that people can be treated so badly just because they think a different way than the rest of us, you know. And it's wrong. It's wrong. But anyway, thank you for sticking with me this far. If you've gone along this far, I've now got to go and spend £1 million on fuel. That's a whole other rant for a whole other vlog. But thank you for sticking with me. And it looks like I've come all this way and I'm not going to be able to get fuel anyway, so that's not good. But thank you for watching. Take it easy. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.